Hello and welcome to Just a Moment. My name is Kristen Harding. Welcome to the show. I like to start out in the beginning with doing our little blessing cards, and today two came out, so we're going to read them both. This is from the Blessed Be series, and they are blessing cards by Lucy Cavendish. So today, the first one that came up is a blessing to lift sadness. A blessing to lift the sadness that cloaks you, yet retain the wisdom and lesson it has come to teach you. Sadness is a strange friend, a gloomy mist of feelings that moves through you slowly, softly stilling the growth and dampening the fire within. It can feel like a death, this farewell to joy, yet within its sorrow, there awaits for you great gifts. So when the time comes for the sadness to move on, we ask for this blessing to allow it to slowly, softly lift from you a diver who has been down deep beneath the oceans. And as you rise, may it be slow enough so you can adjust to the happiness that will begin to flower again in your heart. May your breath become deeper, your smile begin to light up your face again. May your eyes widen and sparkle with the wonder of all that is about you. And may your limbs find joy in movement once again. May you rise, and with that rising, bring with you the teachings of the sadness that you have experienced. Yet be free from the heaviness that has weighed you down so far below that you seemed apart from other people. May you rejoin others and find pleasure in the company once again, and find solace in the sharing of your experiences. May you not hate the sorrow that came to stay a while, but know its presence brought you something holy, a lasting compassion for the suffering of others, and the sure knowledge that as you once went below, you shall surely rise. And if it comes to stay again, you will not fear its permanence, for it is temporary in its companionship, and you will again become a creature of gladness to balance the time that you have spent within the cave of sorrowful knowledge. Be blessed as the sadness lifts, and when that morning breaks and you feel light and glad, and laughter bubbles up from within, remember that the wheel turns, and take the joy and shine it out to the world. Your candle is relit. It is time to brighten all who meet you with the presence of your light. Blessed be. Okay, now the second one that came up is called A Blessing of Fire. And I thought that was interesting. So let's look it up and see what it means. A blessing to bring passion, motivation, and creative spark to your life and to the lives of those that touch. May the many blessings of the holy fires be yours. May fire's burning passion, its quick intensity compel you into moments of action, to make decisions, follow the truths of your heart, and to quicken and burn like the flames within the hearth. May you be warmed and sheltered by the glow of these holy fires, and may they spark again and again the motivation that we all need to turn the wheels in our lives. May the blessings of the flames that devour the old be yours. and may they burn through the debris of memory, the fallen dead wood of hurt and grudges, and burn through the pain so that so many of us feel when recollecting injustices. May it inspire you to move forward with your life, and may it bring down what no longer serves you. May its crimson heat take light within your own soul and breathe to life the flames within you, so that you kindle again and again the sacred inner life, which will warm you when all about you grows cold. May you have rising within you from that radiant heart the fire in the head of the poets of old, the ancient brilliance that will allow dreams to ignite, so that you shine with that inner radiance. May any fear of fire pass from you, and may the only flames that you tend be those who serve your best self. Let any former harm in other lives from this element pass away now, and let a great spark from the heart of the universe rekindle your love of warmth, your passion, your intensity, and your motivation. Let your heart be warmed, and may it be a shelter for others who come to you, like creatures in the woods come to a campfire. And may the fires within be a place of creativity, of dancing and dreams, of stories told through the flicker of flames. May you always have that warmth and its protection and its ardor for all of the days of your life. Blessed be. Fire in the head is an old Celtic expression said to have arisen from Druidry that describes a state of being illuminated by inspiration. Energy is said to pour from the head, creating a halo all about the head of the inspired one. It is often seen around the head of poets, musicians, mystics, dancers, writers, lovers, all who are illuminated by this radiant, inspiring fire pouring from the crown chakra. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm just going to pop over here to where I need to be and see if I can find a comment or two. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. It doesn't want to let me. There we go. Well, hello, Paul. Right at 4:21. Hello. All right, so we're starting. Well, I should say we're continuing this wonderful book by Elizabeth April called "You're Not Dying, You're Just Waking Up." And she, oh my goodness, she's been like a grounding force, a rock, someone that has had so many experiences at such a young age and yet finds a way to express themselves. To me, that's a gift. That's just a beautiful gift. And now to read the book, I'm excited. So before we begin, cheers. All right. We left off. Oh, I was in Milwaukee. That was near Milwaukee where we left off. That was kind of fun. I'm back home in Minnesota now. So we left off in the rabbit hole of darkness. To fully understand what is or is not resonating within you, you must be listening. We are all constantly receiving messages, not only from the world around us, but also from within us. If we continue to value other teachers' information above our own, then we won't be listening. We will just simply be consuming and projecting. Within our quest for knowledge, we come across the rabbit hole of darkness. Pretty daunting name, isn't it? To become a master, of your reality. You must walk the line of the light, but also the dark. Most of us step into the darkness first because it is so easily acceptable. We all have a morbidly curious mind and want to know the truth behind the veil. But eventually, it's important to shift your focus out of that spot as well, just like I talk about in my personal story at the end of this chapter. It's crazy how, with an infinite amount of information out there, you will find the same concept on both extremes of polarity. It is up to you to choose what resonates within you the most. It's okay to change perspectives, and there's absolutely no shame in that. Examples: fluoride, chemtrails, vaccines. Within each of these examples, you will find extremely horrific information that will scare the shit out of you. Likewise, you will find information stating all of these things are beneficial for humanity. Keep in mind, both sides are usually backed by authority figures, such as scientists, politicians, doctors, and of course, lobbyists. This leads us to the next chapter. On a personal note, I was in university waking up and hungry to learn everything there is to know. My biggest interest at the time was the corruption of society. I was studying global politics with a fire in my belly. I wrote essays such as The War on Terror, How Fear Runs Politics, and other spicy topics. Beyond my official academic studies, I focused my free time on other topics of interest such as reptilians, blood and sex rituals, the programming in television, the Illuminati, the New World Order agendas. Oh, what fun all of that was. I was creating art that mirrored my distaste in society at that time as well. It was a lot of information. Although I didn't hold fear around it, I was definitely pissed off. Everyone needed to know the truth. Everyone needed to know what was happening. The need to spread this information consumed me to the point where I didn't relate to anyone anymore. My relationships were struggling because they couldn't see what I was seeing, and I judged them as being ignorant for it. I now realize that there is no one truth. There are just different perspectives. I accept everyone's alternate perspectives and can now remove myself from that all-consuming feeling. All of that information and seeking out additional information resonated with me at the time because I needed to have that in my background. But at a certain point, it no longer felt like understanding the dark agenda served me. It was no longer adding to my life to focus on corruption. So I started expanding my search for higher vibrations and alternative agendas. Upon doing so, I started to see both sides of things. This allowed me to remove myself from just one perspective and see the wholeness within the polarity. I feel this background has given me what I need now to discern and feel the truth beyond the illusion. Chapter 6: Conspiracy Theories. Hey, Starseed, do you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist? Society makes us believe that this is wrong and that you are discredited as someone who has been led astray. However, I interpret conspiracy theory as someone who questions the norm and thinks for themselves. Let's change these terms and empower the freethinkers of the world, including you. On your own journey, you need to take everything with a grain of salt and ask for more if you feel you need it. The best place that you can be in is one where you are open-minded enough to change your perception if something no longer resonates. The worst place to be in is attached to any idea or belief other than the belief that anything is possible, of course. EA. So that's a direct quote. Okay, so, excuse me. This cold. All right. Okay, so you've ravenously searched for information on everything. Eventually, you will come across the concept of conspiracy theories. Here is the textbook definition of a conspiracy theory: a belief that some covert but influential organization is responsible for an unexplained event. I wasn't going to attempt to define this one, since I would basically say the term conspiracy theory was created by the powers that be in an effort to make people feel judged so that they stop questioning. Oh, would you look at that? I did define it. The funny thing is, my definition of conspiracy theory is an effing conspiracy theory. What do you know? Another rabbit hole. Here are some interesting conspiracy theories currently out there. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only, and take it with what resonates within you. So, here are some interesting conspiracy theories currently out there: the Twin Towers, or 9/11, Area 51, crisis actors and false flag operators, chemtrail and nanoparticles, RFID chips, the Illuminati, reptilian shapeshifters, Google and 666, vaccines, 5G technology, 432 hertz music, flat earth theory, the moon landing, inner earth, and so on. Some of these things are more well known than others. I won't be going into these specifically to tell you my opinions about them, but I do recommend searching them just to keep yourself open and give that new discernment of yours some practice. P.S. Just because I listed it doesn't mean I necessarily believe in it myself. These pauses are, by the way, are when I'm turning the page, because I am literally reading live from a book. No AI. I have channeled a lot of these theories and have been surprised by the information that came through. Sometimes the theory was astoundingly validated, and other times it was completely dismissed. Once again, it's up to you to decide. So obviously, in my suggesting you research these theories, I want you to expand your horizons and open up to these endless possibilities. At the same time, I really want you to practice discernment. A lot of people get to this strange stage of awakening and become so intoxicated by this kind of truth that they actually become stuck. Honestly, almost every single aspect of society has some sort of conspiracy behind it. This is actually a good sign because it tells me that people are questioning the reality that they have been fed. However, we can't get stuck in the fear of the truth. Yes, most of the stuff, in fact, is happening and it's really effed up. But we also need to realize that it's been happening this entire time. Just because you have awoken up to this truth doesn't make it any more or less significant on this planet. These realizations and understandings should help to propel you further into your own conscious awakening and not propel you deeper into the rabbit hole of darkness. It's always important to move out of ignorance by knowing or at least questioning what we think we know. But if you allow this information to consume you, then you will be moved into a vibration of apathy. So let's talk about that. On a personal note, like I mentioned in my last personal story, I really do love these topics. They are so fascinating to navigate through. I have seriously come to learn that truth is far stranger than fiction. Hi, Benny. On a side note, I never thought I would be publicly saying everything that I know. Back in 2016, when I started my YouTube channel, I put out a video on reptilians. It was just a simple, who are they, kind of a video. But it got a lot of attention. After about 3 months, I removed it because I was scared. Scared of the criticism, scared of the cabal tracking me down for my knowledge, scared of a lot of things. I felt so overwhelmed, so unseen, and so unheard that I backed off from making videos for a while. I was stuck in the overwhelm of what I knew versus what society seemed to be ready for. I got into this weird, why bother energy? Why bother putting out videos when no one is ready for them? Why take the risk if it's not even waking people up? This leads us into the next stage of awakening. The meh, why bother stage. Hey Starseed, have you ever had those days where you just put on Netflix and relax? But instead of doing that for a day, you do it for days, turning into weeks, and even potentially months? Well, don't worry, that's totally normal. You get so oversaturated with information that you end up feeling like you are an insignificant part of this grand universe. And that's okay. Lack of motivation in the physical is just a sign that you are moving elsewhere. This epic journey can be downright exhausting. So next time you feel like doing nothing, do it, and do it with pride. We can all agree that this information is powerful. With all of that information, you now have the necessary responsibility of choosing what to connect with and what to disregard. Remember that saying? Yes, I am quoting Spider-Man again. Knowledge is power. The problem occurs when we become oversaturated with all of this knowledge. We begin to feel increasingly lonely, sad, and pathetic. EA's definition of apathy. Oh, hello, Christopher. I'm going to read his comment first. Show on stage. There we go. And then boop. It says, being overwhelmed with information doesn't happen to me because I take it as an epiphany ride and just treat it like a spiritual high. Well, that's a wonderful way to treat it, Christopher. All right. See, very positive. All right. So, we can all agree that information is powerful. With all of that information, you now have the necessary responsibility of choosing what to connect with and what to disregard. Remember that saying? With great power comes great responsibility. Yes, quoting Spider Man again, I already did that. EA's definition of apathy: the overwhelming sense that no matter what you do, it won't change anything, so why bother doing anything at all? It's kind of like that feeling of looking around at an extremely messy room in your house and getting so overwhelmed that you don't even know where to begin, so you don't begin at all. You can use this analogy when thinking about all the information on this planet, and likewise, all the information off this planet, which we will go into in later chapters. When we realize there is just so much out there that we don't know, we begin to feel insignificant. We begin to have this why bother mentality. The interesting thing about this mentality is that it's actually a completely educated conclusion. Understanding this life is just one of many, many lives. It makes sense to come up with the conclusion, well, F it, I'll just be back here doing it all over again. Individuals who are more empowered and full of love for themselves move out of this stage quickly. Those who feel unloved and powerless attach themselves to the stage for much longer period of time. The powerless people actually utilize this stage as a justification for some of their actions, since they convince themselves it doesn't matter anyway. I just want to remind you all, regardless of all the SHIT that you can't change, what you absolutely do have full control over is your reaction to change in every single moment. By allowing fear and low vibrations to affect and overwhelm you, you give your power away. And as a matter of fact, you are actually adding to the low vibration of this planet by taking on the perception that you are just one human who has no power to change things. You are perpetuating the very thing that you feel apathetic and fearful about. Our vibration affects those around us because you are a mirror of reflection of the universe. So, what happens when we begin to let go of fear and step into our own conscious power? We help to collectively raise the vibration of the planet. And you are doing that right now. You are here reading this book, well, listening to this book, willing to have a complete ego death for the sake of your own expansion and awakening. You are willing to go against society's norms in order to wake up, and that is the biggest power we all have. Using our free will, conscious awareness to change the current state of the world. In 2014, out of curiosity, I channeled the effect that one awakened individual with a high vibrational frequency could have on the planet. The answer that came back to me was astounding and surprising even for me. One awakened, high vibrational human equates to a positive and uplifting impact on around 72,000 people per year. Yes, that's right. Without even saying or doing anything, you can actually help shift and impact tens of thousands of people on this planet. Now, if that doesn't give you the strength to move forward with a positive perspective, then I don't know what will. Think about a pitch black room and one single match. That individual flame will shed light on the entire surrounding environment. This is a similar concept of light versus dark here on this planet. When we see the good, even in the darkest of things on this planet, we allow others to wake up to the light without getting lost in it all. Both light and dark need to exist. If we were only ever going to look into the light, then we are missing a huge aspect of this binary reality, similar to only ever focusing on our physical and ignoring the vibrational. When the overall vibrational frequency rises on this planet, the entire system of this planet goes through its own ego death. That's right. The planet, as a collective, also needs to change and shift to be in more harmonic alignment with itself. I think that we can all agree that aspects such as the environment, education, monetary systems, governmental systems, and so on all need a major reform in order to serve the people rather than serve the elite. By feeding fear into the collective consciousness, the only beings who win are the ones on top, who feed off the fear in order to gain more power. This entire system has been a control mechanism in order for us to give our power away and to feed our power to them through perpetuating that paradigm of fear. The last thing the ones in control want is for us to realize and harness our full power and potential. To harness this power, we need to be aware, accept, and integrate objectively both states of being, positive and negative, and let go of what no longer serves us. When we do this, we simultaneously help the collective purge out what doesn't serve them as well. This brings us to the next concept of the purge. And she says, on a personal note, I remember back in university, I had a friend named Jeff. He was definitely an old soul, but came from a lot of money and was perpetually depressed and questioning. He and I would sit and chat for hours about the universe while listening to Tool records. I would tell him all the astral traveling information downloads I would receive, and he would come back with thought-provoking questions until one day he got really stuck in this myth energy. I love that word, myth. M-E-H, myth. Let's see, where was I? Okay, myth energy. Okay, he got stuck in the disempowered vibration of everything all at once. He would ask me, so if the cabal has all the control and we are just living in the matrix, then what is the point of all of this? Why even try? For a long time, I didn't know how to answer him. I felt what he was feeling, but I also had a much more optimistic approach to it all. Eventually, I figured it out, and this is what I told him. Jeff, we are the creators of this reality that we live in. We created this to learn and grow and be challenged by polarity. If we can change this moment with our conscious focus, then we can change the world with the same intentional energy. I asked him, who is your hero? Who do you look up to? And he said, the Grateful Dead. Then I said to him, where do you think they started? They started right where you are. They are impacting people like you all over the world and started with nothing but the potential for everything, just like you have right now. I'm not sure what happened to you, Jeff, but if you're reading this, I want you to know that you had an important impact on my journey, and I will forever have gratitude for you in that way. You made an impact. You played an important part. I hope this personal story helps you along your journey of awakening and moving through the overwhelm. Should we do another chapter? I think so. I'll have a sip of water first. I got my circa 2000 Disneyland glass here. I know, but I'm a kid at heart. So let's talk about symptoms of awakening. Awakening, awakening. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Starseed, are you tired? Have you been experiencing headaches, restless sleeps, and weird pains in your body that you can't explain? Well, join the club. These symptoms are so strong and so real, it literally feels like you are dying. Every time I check into these symptoms for my clients and friends, I usually hear the message that they are all related to awakening. As you raise your vibration to a new frequency, your body needs to clear space. Without knowing it, you have taken on a lot of energy that isn't yours. Energy from others, energy from past lives, energy from traumas. This energy tends to get stuck in your body if it isn't resolved. And Benny, you're right. No fear, just push on through it. The second that you are ready and willing to shift into a higher vibration, your body begins to go through the process of purging out all that doesn't serve you. Because you are primarily an energy being, that energy will often directly affect your physical state. So, when you are leveling up and releasing the old, it's typically a very painful process. No matter how awakened you are, you will still feel shifts and shifting symptoms along your journey. I'm hoping that this chapter will validate a lot of the release symptoms that you have been experiencing. Ultimately, I'd like to let you know you aren't dying, you're just waking up. Throughout your awakening, you will go through something I like to call the purge. This isn't necessarily just a one and done type situation, unfortunately. This is an ongoing and usually quite painful experience. I have mentioned before that it is important to clear space within your energy field in order to allow new energy in. So let's talk about going deep and clearing that out. If you're stubborn like me, there will be a lot of resistance within yourself related to the clearing of the energy field. The reason that we are met with so much ego human resistance is because change is a scary thing. We covered this thing on ego death. We covered this in the section on ego death. There we go, that sounds better. It's really tough to let go, just like those examples of clinging on to an identity until that identity is ripped away from you. You will be forced to let it go, which can be much, much harder. Your body will tell you when it's time to purge. Similar to feeling that anxiety coming up. If you are not feeling right, then most likely there is something that you aren't paying attention to. The messages and clues are all around you. All you have to do is look. Remember, the resistance will only grow until you pay attention. There are many types of purging. I will go over the main ones that you will most likely experience during your awakening. Physical purging. Physical purging is pretty straightforward. The name says it all. During this type of purging, your body will be releasing anything and everything that isn't good for it. You know, all of those years of drinking alcohol or taking prescription drugs, sleeping with randos or eating sugar, lots and lots of sugar. Yeah, that's the type of stuff your body needs to release. Not to mention the heavy metals in the air and the chemicals that we ingest on a daily basis. Though you might have needed these to learn something valuable about yourself in this incarnation, the vibration of those things will no longer serve your new state of being. Another aspect of physical purging is old physical injuries. Believe it or not, there's energy trapped within every part of our body that we have previously injured, and not just from this lifetime. For example, I was having severe pain in my back right shoulder blade a few months ago, and tried absolutely everything in the physical to get it out. I stretched, I got cupped, I even went to see a massage therapist, but nothing worked. The pain kept coming back. I eventually tapped into the energy. It was a past life where I was a European soldier fighting a Native American, and I was shot in the back with a poison arrow. That arrow killed me, and I learned a valuable lesson. I underestimated the indigenous at that time. We had muskets and they had wood, but because of their extensive knowledge of the land, that wood was tipped with poison, which created my demise. I learned to respect them. I have also lived many indigenous lifetimes and resonate more with those than even this one right now. After I channeled that lifetime, the pain in my back instantly went away. You may you may not be able to see what I can see right now, but by asking to see the real issue behind the pain, your eyes will no doubt be opened one way or another. Below are some of the most common awakening symptoms and some ways in which you can help the physical purging along by making it more tolerable. Either way, purging and release is so important. It's something we simply can't skip through. Symptoms: excessive sweating or smelling bad, food sensitivities, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, physical pain in the body in areas of old injuries. Supporting the physical release. Light exercise, walking, jogging, dancing. This helps energy move through your body. Light stretching or yoga also helps stuck energy release. Healthy diet with raw veggies and fruits. Natural detoxing supplements, getting heavy metals, chemicals, and other toxins out. Look into activated charcoal. Tapping. By tapping and putting repetitive pressure on the pain areas with the intention of release, it really helps to let that shit go. If you really want to get into it, do a little research on the meridians in your body and work with them. Well, I think that's a really good place to stop. And remember, when there's a time where we're getting down or sad, remember that there is something bigger than we are. a love that will never let us go. So that is all for now, my very dear friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Never forget that you are amazing. You are loved. Be well, be safe out there. And I will see you on the next show. Bye.